So, I was rewatching Descendants, and there was one part of the movie that kind of bothered me. So, in the movie, Ben, who is the son of Belle and Beast, says that he has the poster parents for goodness. Nope. He does not. It was such a weird line because it's like, if you logically look at it, he really doesn't. Like, okay, Belle, I would argue, is a good person. Beast? Where? Okay, so let's run through Beast for a minute here. Okay, so he literally got himself and everyone in the castle cursed because he turned an old woman away. Now, I'm not saying you should welcome strangers into your home because, let's be real, it could probably do more harm than good. So, I'll give him a pass on that. But unfortunately, that's not the only bad thing he's done. He's pretty much a horrible person, beast, person, whatever. So, putting aside, like I said, not letting the random stranger into your house, he kidnaps Maurice, who, let's be real, probably should not have been stealing from Beast to begin with. But he's stealing a rose, and Beast's reaction to that is imprison him. Lock him up forever. Okay. Yes, Maurice was wrong for stealing. Beast was also wrong for being like, lock him up. Then he holds Belle prisoner. And not only that, he is verbally abusive toward her during several points of the movie. Now, granted, he does change and become a better person, but is it really enough for me to allow Ben to dub his parents the poster parents for goodness? He literally says, I have the poster parents for goodness. No, my dude, you do not. Yeah. But then it got me thinking. Well, if Belle and Beast aren't the poster parents for goodness, who in the Disneyverse is? So, there is a few things to note before I go through my ranking. I'm only looking at couples in the Disney princess movies, along with Frozen, because let's be real, the only reason Frozen ain't in the lineup officially is because it's too popular. But, yeah, so Disney princess movies and Frozen. I know that I would probably have a much longer list if I went beyond the scope of the Disney princesses and just looked at the Disneyverse in general. I'm not doing that because I don't want a whole giant list. I feel like I got 11 couples already. And I'm like, that's way too many. So I don't want to go beyond that. Also, that I would have had to have watched a whole lot of movies. And no, we're not doing that. Also, some of these characters are parents, like legitimately parents within the Disney canon universe, thanks to the movie sequels. I'm not looking at them as parents because honestly, I feel like it's a little bit unfair to judge them based off of their parenting when other couples within the Disney franchise do not have children. So, yeah, basically the poster parents for goodness is a loose term in terms of parents. it's basically poster couples, for goodness. Because let's be real, if you're a good couple, you're probably going to be good parents. I don't know. But yeah, so we're just kind of looking at all of them and we're kind of excluding the fact that they are parents. We're still looking at them, don't get me wrong, but yeah, them being parents and how they are as parents is not going to affect the ranking. Also, I'm not diving into any lore or theories or anything like that about the characters, the couples, the universe they're in, whatever. I'm just kind of looking at what the movie tells me on surface level and taking it at face value, because I feel like if I were to go into the theories and the lore and everything, one, it'd be way too much, and two, it would vastly change things kind of in an unfair way. So, yeah, basically how the movies present these characters, the couples, that's what we're looking at. Also, I'm looking at both characters individually as well as a couple. So, essentially, to be sort of at the top of the list or near the top of the list, both characters have to be good people, but also, like, you know, pretty decent couple. But we're kind of judging them individually a little bit. Yeah, so like I said, I have 11 couples, because I may have thrown two of them together. You'll see when we get there. From the least likely to be crowned the poster parents, for goodness, to most likely. So, let's go. In 11th place, I have Belle and Adam. Yeah, apparently that's his name. I already harped on my reasons for why they're not the poster parents, for goodness. Whole reason for doing this video, basically, refresher, Adam is a kidnapping, verbally abusive dude. So, yeah. You kind of disqualified my dude. In 10th place, I have Rapunzel and Flynn, or Eugene if you follow the show. This one was hard. But Flynn was a thief who didn't help Rapunzel out of the goodness of his heart. He does end up looking out for Rapunzel and helping her get back home, but he spent the beginning of the movie being a not great guy. Rapunzel also is more manipulative than her other princess friends. Yeah, basically they both are not perfect human beings. And because of that, they are here. They are also higher than Belle and Adam because, let's be real, even though both of them are kind of, not perfect saints, neither one of their behavior is worse than Adam's here, so yeah. In 9th place, I have Jasmine and Aladdin. Now, much like Beast did grow into a better person over the course of the movie, Aladdin kind of followed a similar path. Now, he's not abusive, so there's that. But Aladdin did some things that were not great. Like, he stole, but he stole for the greater good, so we could kind of let that slide. He lied to Jasmine about being a prince, and while it all worked out in the end, lying is not a trait for the poster parents of goodness, especially because Aladdin didn't lie for the greater good. He lied for selfish reasons. He wanted Jasmine, and Jasmine needed to marry a prince, so I am a prince. Yay! No. But, like I said, not abusive towards Jasmine, actually genuinely cares for her. Jasmine's a pretty good person, so that's why they're higher than Rapunzel and Flynn. But, yeah. Then in 8th place, we have Tiana and Naveen. Now, I'm going to go right out and say it. I am not the biggest fan of Naveen. I actually kind of hate him. He's very self-absorbed. He thinks everyone should help him simply because he's a prince. He doesn't even really care about Tiana. He sees her as a means to an end. Now, he does grow to love and respect her. He even allows her to have her restaurant after getting together, and while that seems like the bare minimum, I feel like Naveen at the beginning of the movie would have demanded that Tiana give up her dreams for the privilege of being his princess. So we admire the growth. But yeah, again, like, his actions, while very self-absorbed, they're not horrible. So yeah. In 7th place, I have Pocahontas and John Smith, as well as Pocahontas and John Rolfe. Now, both Johns face a similar issue. They are problematic due to their connections with colonialism. And while they do eventually come around to the side of understanding and changing their thoughts towards Pocahontas and her people, they still kind of both start off in the not great category, which is why neither of these pairings is higher on the list. I also feel like they're very similar in a way, which is why I kind of combined them together, because honestly, in many ways, they're interchangeable for me. I guess maybe I would say John Smith is slightly better, but they're basically the same. In 6th place, I have Mulan and Li Shang. Now, Mulan is similar to Aladdin in the fact that she lied about who she was. But unlike Aladdin, which is why, you know, it helps put her higher on this list, is she didn't have selfish reasons for lying. She did it so that her injured father wouldn't have to go to war. Now, Li Shang spent the bulk of the movie as a good guy. But there is a moment where he wasn't such a great guy, and that is when he learned that Mulan was in fact a woman and not a man, and he left her in the snow. Now, much like Pocahontas and her dudes, this behavior is a product of the time and the culture, and I mean, like Pocahontas' dudes, he eventually comes around to acknowledging that Mulan is a smart and skilled fighter, and he lets her take the lead to stop Shan Yu, which helped put this pairing not only this high up, but higher, I guess, than Pocahontas and her dudes, because I don't know. In 5th place, I have Snow White and Florian, I think. This was tough because Florian is basically non-existent. Like, he's basically a non-existent character. I'm pretty sure he didn't even have a name until later. I'm still not entirely sure that Florian is his name. It's the first name that I've seen him go by in something. But I've seen so many other potential names for this dude. But you know what? He feels like a Florian, so I'm rolling with Florian. Now, from what we did see of Florian, he seems like a good guy. He has some questionable behavior for sure. But nothing outright horrible. Nothing outright bad. Nothing outright, putting him in the not great guy category. Snow White, I would argue that Snow White is the poster person for goodness. Like, she's so pure and good. But because Florian, because I'm still rolling with that name, isn't enough of a character in this movie for me to determine how good or bad he is, that's why they're where they are. Like, They both seem like good people, but one of them is barely a character. So they're in 5th place. In 4th place, I have Cinderella and Charming. Now, similarly to Florian, because I'm going to continue to do that, Charming really isn't a character in this movie. Like, he's not a character. But Cinderella is considered to be a good person. She faces a lot of hardship. She doesn't let it change her good heart. She's still, trying to be a good person. She's not letting the negativity around her affect her behavior towards others. Charming, like I said, he's barely a character. He does not remember what Cinderella looks like. But he's not a bad person. He doesn't really even have questionable behavior. So by like a margin, Cinderella and Charming are ahead of Snow White and Florian. Because Charming doesn't have questionable behavior. Yep. That's where we're at. In 3rd place, I have Aurora and Philip. Now, I would argue both Aurora and Philip are considered good people. Aurora, ironically, barely a character. Which is weird. But we'll roll with it. Philip, he is willing to fight for Aurora's safety, even if it means putting his own safety on the line. And what we do see of Aurora, she seems very much like Snow White and Cinderella, full of love, hope, just a good person all around. So yeah, that's why they're in 3rd place. But in 2nd place, I have Ariel and Eric. Now, Eric takes the time to get to know Ariel, even though she can't speak and can't talk to him. Very easy for him to just be like, well, I don't know who you are. I don't understand anything you're trying to tell me. So be free. And much like Philip before him, he's willing to put his own life on the line to save Ariel's life. Ariel, also very similar to the princesses before her. She's a good person. She doesn't allow her father's negative views towards the humans, cloud her thoughts toward them. Like, she would much rather learn about them for herself and make her own judgments and form her own opinions, which is great. We love that. Yeah, so Ariel and Eric, both of them kind of really good people. But they're in 2nd place. Because in 1st place, I have Anna and Kristoff. Look, you can claim Ariel and Eric as the official ones, as, the top of the officials. But Anna and Kristoff, they are both such good people. And it's hard, because we've kind of gotten to the point where, like, everybody's sort of good people. But they're both good people separately. They're both, good people together. They have love and respect for each other. They look out for each other. I love that. Anna, she's determined to save her sister and her kingdom, even though they aren't close. And Elsa basically disapproved of her marrying Hans. Would have been very easy for her to be like, you know what? You've gone off into the mountains somewhere. Yeah, we're stuck in eternal winter, but you know what? I've basically spent my entire life on my own anyways. And now I get to marry Hans. Nobody's going to be here to object because you've run off into the mountains. But no, she looks out for her kingdom. She looks out for her sister. And we love that for her. Now, Kristoff, look, did he need some convincing to go and help Anna on her journey to the ice castle in the mountains? Yes, he did. I probably would have too. It seems very cold. But he saves her several times. he's willing to give up his own happiness to save Anna by allowing Hans to be the one to save her with the act of true love. If you've seen the movie, you know how well that goes over. But, like, he's willing to sacrifice his happiness. Anna's willing to sacrifice her happiness, all for, the good of others. And I love that. That makes them good people, but it also makes them good for each other. And yeah. So congratulations, Anna and Kristoff, on being crowned the poster parents for goodness. We have 2 more Frozen movies. How much you want to bet they're going to become parents in at least one of those? Yeah. So that was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I feel like I was super harsh on, some of the couples and maybe not harsh enough on others. And I had to put them somewhere. And so it means that some of them had to be lower than others. And it got really complicated when we started getting to, like, the both genuinely good people. And it's like, okay, but, like, where are we putting you? And it was chaos putting this together. Also having to, like, separate my feelings about the couple, and look at them in terms of, are they good people? Are they a good couple? Versus, well, I really like them. They're not great people. They have issues. Like, I feel like Rapunzel and Flynn was that. I was like, I love Rapunzel and Flynn. But are they good people? And it was so hard. Yeah, it was intense. It was intense putting this together. But I am really curious to know what your thoughts are. Let me know, which couple do you think would be the poster parents for goodness that Ben from Descendants has dubbed his parents? Do you think it is Belle and Beast? Because I'm really curious about that. You can choose from the couples that I explored, or you can even dive deeper and further into the Disneyverse and find other couples. You could pick one. You could pick several. I mean, I played fast and loose with a lot of these rules in this video that I made up. So y'all can do the same. I am really curious, though, to hear which couples you guys think would be the poster parents for goodness. Yeah, let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below.